In this video, I'm gonna break down why Cassie's reaction to this Diddy's verdict proves that she's not done going after Diddy. Diddy went from facing a life sentence to potentially getting out of jail today. He was found not guilty on racketeering, not guilty on trafficking, guilty on transporting Cassie to engage in prostitution, transporting another Jane Doe to engage in prostitution, but ultimately not guilty on the serious charges. The precedent that's been set for anybody convicted on these charges is not really that serious, and they're usually granted bond as they are awaiting sentencing. Diddy's team has put together a package that's been floating out there. He's volunteering $1 million bond and travel restrictions, which to me, that's excessive, but he's offering that up because he wants to get out today. And this undoubtedly should be accepted if there's nobody contesting it outside of the prosecutors. Well, Diddy is not gonna have a smooth sailing bond hearing today, not on Cassie's watch. Because right when Cassie got wind that Diddy is trying to get out today, Cassie has now officially petitioned the court not to release Diddy from jail today, awaiting sentencing. Cassie's attorney wrote a letter to the judge, and the letter says, "We write as counsel for Cassandra Ventura, Miss Ventura, aka Cassie, to respectfully request that the court deny Mr. Combs to be released pending his sentences on 2 convictions. Pursuant to the bill reform, detention is mandatory post-conviction on these charges, and Miss Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testify in this case, including herself, as well as to the community. We thank the court for its time and attention to this matter." My initial reaction to this was, what did he pay Cassie $20 million for? What did he give $20 million to buy? Because even when Diddy was first being investigated, his house was getting raided, Cassie and her attorneys put out a statement letting them know, hey, bruh, we is cooperating with the feds, right? We want justice. I'm not trying to undermine what Cassie went through. We seen the video. Cassie is a victim. So her wanting justice, there's nothing wrong with that. But what was the $20 million for? If I'm Diddy and I knew if I gave you $20 million, now you won't speak on this publicly, but you're still gonna cooperate with the feds, come to court and testify against me. And then once I get found not guilty and there's a possibility of me being released, you're going to petition the court to keep me in jail. At that point, you gotta work for your $20 million, man. Now, Cassie, I believe, sued Diddy for like $50 million or something absurd. Bro, you would have to work for every dollar you get from out of me, bro. If I knew this was going to be the path that they was going to take, I thought $20 million is you go away, you enjoy life. Cassie also got $10 million from the hotel. I'm thinking you go away, you enjoy life, and you leave me and the feds alone. They released another statement where Cassie is taking credit for paving a way for Diddy criminal charges, where the lawyer writes, "This entire criminal process started when our client, Cassies Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November of 2023. Although the jury did not find Combs guilty of trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie had left an inedible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit, and the misconduct has persisted for decades without repercussions. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors." They letting Diddy know, bruh. We not done with you yet, buddy. Diddy essentially gave Cassie the money that she used to go after him. If he would have made her wait, then like the civil trial would have had to wait until after the criminal trial. And if he would have gotten found not guilty, he could have went to court and probably get found guilty of the domestic violence stuff or the other things and probably not have to pay out $20 million. But Cassie and her attorney didn't stop there. The attorney did a video press conference after the verdict came out, after the not guilty verdict came out, and he made it perfectly clear, okay, that the 2 acts where Jane Doe and Cassie, he got convicted on a Man's Act of transporting them to engage in rendezvous. Well, he stated that they're pushing for the max, that they are confident the court will keep this man in jail. They pushing for 20 years, $1 million for each year they want to put Diddy in prison for.
We're hopeful that ultimately he receives a substantial sentence for what he's done, and we're pleased that Cassie's brought to light everything that has happened in this trial. I just spoke with her and with the U.S. Attorney's Office team, and she's in a good place. She's pleased that, again, that the jury has found him liable, or guilty of 2 federal crimes.
What was her reaction?
And I've issued a statement as well on our Twitter as well. Her reaction is what I just said. Her reaction was that she was pleased that he's been found guilty and held responsible of 2 federal crimes, something that he's never been held responsible in his entire life. And she's happy that in November of 2023 she came forward and shined a light on this and brought other people forward who have various civil claims, and so we'll see what happens with the sentencing. All right,
Counselor,
thank you very much.
Looking at this direction, you said that same thing. Sorry.
Oh, I can't repeat it again, but
yeah, please.
Sorry. So, what was the question?
Yeah. Your reaction to what happened.
The reaction is that we're pleased that he's finally been held responsible for 2 federal crimes, something that he's never faced in his life. He still faces substantial jail time. Of course, we would have liked to have seen a conviction on the sex crimes in RICO, but we understand beyond a reasonable doubt is a high standard, and we're just pleased that he still faces substantial jail time. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
How much time?
Doug Wigdor, W-I-G-D-O-R. Well, each is faces up to 10 years on each. I'm not sure what the sentencing guidelines are given the various different things, but I'll leave that up to the government and the defense to argue. But I feel confident in saying he still faces substantial incarceration.
How would you feel if he walks out on bail?
Well, that's up to the judge. I don't have a personal vested interest in this case. Whatever the appropriate thing to do under the law is what should be done. And at the end of the day, he needs to be sentenced pursuant to the guidelines and pursuant to what the law is. My understanding of that is that he faces significant incarceration. So thank you very much.
Thank you. He's the attorney for Cassie Ventura.
He lied in that press conference. He's not leaving it up to the judge or the prosecutors because he intervened. He literally wrote a letter saying, yo, keep him in jail. And also, it doesn't just stop here. The day of sentencing, there's going to be victim impact letters. Cassie is going to give a victim impact letter. She's going to push for Diddy to get 20 years. Now, my thing is this, bro. Diddy, regardless of what you think he did, he was convicted on transporting Cassie to the freak-offs. So, based on that, do you believe that Cassie deserves $20 million plus Diddy doing 20 years in prison because he transported her to freak-offs? I think that's a tad bit excessive. Now, I don't think Cassie is the villain in this situation, but what Cassie is doing is she's making sure that her public reputation and how people view her is now changing, is now turning. Because people were sympathetic to the nature of that video is horrible. Diddy, what he did to Cassie is horrible. And a lot of people was fine with her getting the $20 million based off of that alone. But now as she pushes for this man to get 20 years in prison for transporting her to a freak-off, people are now starting to view her as the villain. VladTV tweeted this like a little while ago, like 5 minutes ago. Vlad writes, Cassie is the villain in this whole case. You can't convince me otherwise. And I feel like this is entirely based on what Cassie has been doing post the verdict. The $20 million, you had to come to court. They probably subpoenaed you or forced you. Okay, cool. Now, afterwards after getting $20 million, you still want him to get 20 years in jail? That's when you start to become a villain. That's when people now begin to look at you as if this is not right. This is not okay. Cassie got $20 million from Diddy, $10 million from the Intercontinental Hotel. She's up $30 million. She could go away and enjoy her life. Pushing for this man to get 20 years to me is a little bit excessive. I'm not saying Diddy don't deserve jail time. I think if we could go back in time to before the statute of limitation for him doing what he did to Cassie in that hotel room, then yeah, Diddy should probably get I don't know, 4 years, maybe 3 years in prison for beating her up in the hotel. Cool. But a statute of limitation has been passed. Diddy was only convicted of transporting her to a freak off. Should he get 20 years for that? Come on, bro. When Cassie was a willing participant in the freak offs? If Cassie was my mom or my sister, I'm advising her to take the money and go away. You don't want to be the next Megan Thee Stallion. You don't want to be viewed in that light. And Diddy still got a lot of support out here, bro, because people essentially look at this case like a sham. And I feel like the jurors looked at that too, which is why he got found not guilty on most of the charges. And even when you look at the support that Diddy still has, it's shocking, but Diddy still have a lot of support. Rather, this is a good thing or a bad thing, I can't comment on it. But yo, people are literally pouring baby oil on themselves outside, outside of the courthouse in support of Diddy. So Diddy got a lot of support out here, bro. And the way social media works, man, they will turn you into a Megan Thee Stallion fast.
Proper and etiquette that is happening inside of a courtroom. No, instead, I kid you not, people are pouring baby oil on one another outside this courthouse. Baby oil having a very big play in the freak-offs we heard about. You have people saying it's not Rico, it's Frico. You got applause coming when the mother of Sean Diddy Combs, Miss Janice, got out of the vehicle just a few moments ago, really, behind us and walked inside to elated cheers and her greeting the crowd. Every time the family, the children, the 6 adult children come in, 3 boys and 3 girls, they are met by cheers, and also at times throughout the course of trial, met by scathing and disrespectful comments as well, a lot of profanity. But
in all honesty, Cassie don't need to really push the courts to do anything. The U.S. is working tirelessly to make sure that Diddy don't get released today. She could say nothing and still get her desirable results. Now, while making this video in real time, we got an update. The judge has actually moved the hearing for Diddy release from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So where I was expecting to hear back a judgment like right around now, we won't hear it probably for about another 3 hours or so. But the U.S. did submit a letter to the judge contesting Diddy's release. And they believe that releasing Diddy right now will send a terrible message to other powerful people, letting them know that they don't have to be held accountable. And the U.S. would also say that releasing Diddy right now would put the victims at risk. The U.S. Attorney Office submitted this letter to the judge on behalf of Deontay Nash, who was like a personal hairstylist for Bad Boy. He also testified at court against Diddy that Diddy threatened him, Diddy hurt him, etc., etc. So the letter is from Deontay Nash, but it was submitted by the U.S. Attorney Office. And the letter says, "Dear Judge, I am writing to express my grave concern over the prospect of Sean Combs, Diddy, being released from custody. While I appreciate the fairness you have shown throughout this proceeding, I feel compelled to be unequivocal about the danger he poses to the public and to the individuals who have risked everything by coming forward." Man, it feels like them U.S. Attorney Office lawyers, bro. Man, bro, they wrote this lawyer on behalf of Deontay Nash, bro. I don't believe a hairstylist is spitting like this, man. Diddy has a long, well-documented history of violent, coercive, and retaliatory behavior over the years. He has repeatedly escaped meaningful accountability, and each time this has only reinforced his sense of impunity. If he is released now, I have no doubt he will see it as yet another license to continue intimidating, threatening, and harming people who challenge or expose him. Many of us, firsthand knowledge of the fear he instills in those around him, I can say without hesitation that he is a serious and immediate threat to victims, witnesses, and the broader community. His pattern of violence, particularly while engaged in the trafficking of individuals for prostitution, he was found not guilty of that, by the way, combined with unchecked substance abuse, makes it clear that he is not ready to re-enter society safely or responsibly. To release Diddy without substantial consequences will undermine the integrity of this process and send a dangerous message that wealth and influence can shield someone indefinitely from accountability. It would also endanger those who cooperated with this investigation under subpoena, who are already living in fear of retaliation. I urge you in the strongest possible terms to prioritize the safety of victims and witnesses over any consideration of leniency. Diddy has had countless opportunities to change, and he has chosen instead to escalate his harmful conduct. Allowing him back in the community now would be a profound mistake. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to protecting the public from those who repeatedly demonstrate they are unwilling to respect the law. Diddy is a first-time offender. This is the Mann Act. For a first-time offender, bruh, this man ain't getting the years you think he's getting in jail. And to me, the argument, hey, bro, people testified against him, so, like, you can't possibly let him go, to me, is a nonsense argument. You understood the risk. You came to court and you did it. Now, you was subpoenaed, but you could have fought it. You didn't. You wanted to do it. This is narrative that just because somebody testified against someone, that the person they testified against should never see the day of light is crazy. Yo, that's like saying, yo, ASAP Rocky, man, we know you were found not guilty, man, but we can't let you out, man, because ASAP really told on you and you going, no, bro. If that man is dumb enough to get out of jail and victimize others, then guess what? He'll be right back in prison. But that's no standard for that man to be in jail longer than he should. Treat him like anybody else. We're not talking about trafficking. We're not talking about racketeering. We're not talking about kidnapping, arson, bribery, witness tampering. He was found not guilty on all of that. We're talking about he took his long-term girlfriend, convinced her to engage in a freak-off, because he was also found not guilty for force, fraud, or coercion. So they're saying he did not coerce Cassie into doing this or force her into doing this. He transported Cassie. Now the courts have determined that she's a sex worker. So we got to call her that. Because the crime is you transported a prostitute to engage in prostitution. So they're saying Cassie was the sex worker that got transported, and Jane Doe as well. So he took a sex worker and paid for their transportation or transported them to engage in sex work. To me, that's not a violent crime to where this man should still be in jail. But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think, man? Do y'all believe that Cassie further involvement is now excessive? She's now aiming past the mark she aimed for, 48 laws of power. Let me know in the comment section. And if you're still watching, click on this video right here somewhere on my screen to see my initial reaction to Diddy's not guilty verdict and why I break down why Diddy, or why I made videos over the last couple of months explaining why I believe Diddy was not guilty on a racketeering charges from day one. Click on this video right here to find out what I'm talking about. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.